Greetings, everyone. My name is Maya, and today we're going to be talking about the connection between pregnancy and your mental health, how it affects you, the people around you, and how it overall changes your life. I think that's a very important topic, and I've never seen anyone on YouTube really talk about it before. And I think it's really, really important to share the experience all of us are having during this precious and interesting time in our lives, and especially how much it influences and actually changes not only who you are, but how you behave and how you overall exist. And I'm sure that the things that I'm experiencing being pregnant and going through this whole process is actually pretty similar to what other women and people in general might experience. So let's get into it. The biggest change that I saw in my mental health is I stopped giving zero fucks. Before I got pregnant, I was a very neurotic person. I was naturally liking and enjoying the idea of control over the things that are happening in my life. And I was overall pretty stressed about many, many things. Going through different scenarios in my head was just a very normal thing for me. And when I got pregnant, I stopped caring about most of the things that I considered to be important to care for. And I wouldn't say that the whole idea and the whole concept of caring for something changed to only caring for my belly and the human that is growing there. No, I would say that just in generally in life, I became a lot more clear and concentrated on the things that are actually important. And I'm very grateful that this experience of being pregnant has given this gift to me, because I've never felt, as I mentioned in some of my previous pregnancy videos, so secure, confident, and ensured in who I am, what I trust in, what I believe in, and what's important for me. Additionally, a big topic that needs to be discussed and needs to be discussed more often is depression. And depression not only in the way of a postpartum period, but in the way of pregnancy depression and pregnancy anxiety. I was fortunate enough to skip this, but you need to remember that for us, people who are prone to being depressed, who are prone to having an anxiety, this is a risky factor of making sure that you get the pregnancy depression or postpartum depression. So caring for your mental health and being proactive with it is the best thing you can possibly do, just to make sure that this gigantic and drastic change of your life will not drive you crazy. So if you can afford going to therapy and taking care of your mental health, do that. For me personally, the thing that I went back to was journaling. Being 100% sincere with myself at first is the best and most useful tool that I use at this moment for my mental health. I found that meditations, especially guided meditations, are a big support ground for me, because I've never been really regular with meditation. I was always on and off, but I do think that making sure that you do not allow your psyche to go into this crazy roller coaster of extreme crying, extreme emotions, or extreme sadness, it's very, very important to prevent those by the tools that are available and just overall caring for yourself. One more important topic that has to be covered is the way that your relationship changes with everyone around you. It's such a great indicator when something so drastically big and valuable happens in your life, how differently people start to react to it. I've noticed that many of the people that were there in my life for a very, very constant period of time just faded away. Maybe because we were not on the same page anymore, or we weren't relating to each other anymore. I can only imagine the things that people who know me are going through internally. And I'm sure that the world does not circle around me, myself, and I. But it's unique how you see people who have never had any relationship with you start asking questions and worrying and caring and trying to show their attention to you, which is extremely valuable and needed during such a vulnerable time. And how people who you thought you had very close and intimate relationships with just start to distance themselves from you to the point that you do not speak anymore. Also, I think the big factor that we need to consider when we get pregnant is we need to take responsibility and care not only for us, but for this other human that is literally growing and forming out of nowhere. I found myself being a lot more conscious about the things that I eat, the things that I put on my body, the way that I behave, the way that my emotional states are. I just became a lot more caring. And I do think that's weird because I never considered myself a person who has a strong will. The most basic example I can tell you is when I used to have a sad mood, it was normal for me to compensate it with some kind of sugar and sweets. So I would go to the nearest grocery store and get myself some gummy bears because that's my comfort food, or get myself a chocolate bar and eat it. And right now, understanding the amount of sugar and chemicals in all of it, I find myself leaning towards berries a lot more often, or fruits a lot more often. And I found that with time, my food behavior just changed so much that I'm not a sweet tooth anymore. I'm not a person who loves eating sugar anymore. I make a lot better choices for my health because I do understand the amount of responsibility I carry right now. And I don't know why, but for some reason, until I became pregnant, I never actually made enough effort to live by these rules of healthy lifestyle. I don't know how I will behave once this whole breastfeeding process starts and once the baby's out. But at this point, I'm proud to say that I definitely became a better human than I was. I understand right now, as I'm telling you this, I start to tear up because I think it's important to say that while being pregnant and while having a high risk pregnancy, I obviously Googled and YouTubed many, many things, and I've met so many stories of people having a stillbirth, of people having miscarriages, of losing their babies in the process of pregnancy, that I think the most important thing and the most important words we can say to a woman that is pregnant is, I'm so proud of you. You're doing so great. Because when you meet so many stories of people who are facing terrible loss, it's heartbreaking. And when you can relate to that and when you can truly understand that, it breaks your heart even more. It makes you appreciate and value the fact that you're here, that you're still going through this, that you haven't had any problems or baby coming out earlier than he or she should be. It makes you very, very grateful. And I think that being grateful and acknowledging the fact that pregnancy is not something easy, done by a click of fingers, and overall just nonchalant thing. No, it's not. It does require a lot of effort, physical, mental, emotional, and we do need to acknowledge pregnant people a lot more and give them praise a lot more and just cherish them and care for them a lot more. If you're a pregnant person who's watching this, nevertheless, at what stage you are, what's your trimester, I'm proud of you. You're doing great, whatever it is that you're doing, as long as you're still pregnant and you are able to go to the very end of it without any complications. Good for you. It's a great blessing and it's a great gift, and it's something that we really, really, really should be proud of. Not everyone in this life, in this time, in this world is given an opportunity to become a parent. There is never a point when you can stop caring or being worried or just stressing about all of it, but finding joy and content in all of it is, I think, what's most important and what's most valuable, especially for a human who's growing another human. I really wish that this wasn't a bit of a too dark and too stressful and too sad TMI for you, but I really needed to get it out of me to make sure that I'm not the only person who's experiencing this. So if you've had any other thoughts about pregnancy that I have not covered and you think are important for other pregnant people to know, drop them below. I'll be glad to discuss it all together and just share our thoughts and emotions. And I will see you in my next video. You can check out my channel that is at the moment filled with lots of pregnancy content. I would appreciate your likes and comments, and I will see you very soon. Bye.